Hi again, welcome back. New month, new chapter. Where are we? Chapter 14. Oh yeah, Christian decided to be a sub to try and get Anna to not leave him. So that's where we're picking back up. Let's see where this goes. No, I don't like this. I am less than a page into this chapter, and I think this is like the most concentrated kink shame I have ever come across in this series, and trust me, that is saying something. So Anna's like, Christian, please don't do this, I don't want this, but he's staying in sub mode, and Anna's like horrified, she's crying. Okay, on some level I understand like not wanting to dom someone and like being thrust into the position of someone like basically offering themselves up as your sub. That can be kind of a scary thing, I would imagine. So she's like, suddenly it's too much to see him in the same prostate position. Cool. Suddenly it is too much to see him in the same prostrate position as the pathetic creature that was Layla. Holy fuck, that's a tongue twister. And then a couple paragraphs later, she says, the thought of me dominating anyone is appalling. The thought of dominating Christian is nauseating. It would make me like her, the woman who did this to him. Where do I even begin to unpack the amount of kink shame that is in those few sentences? Like, okay, that's equating kink with being mentally disturbed, being, I don't know, brutalized, being broken, and which is so, like, you see that all the time in kink shaming. It's like, you're broken, it's humiliating, it's degrading, it's, which, like, I'm not even gonna get into people with like kinks around humiliation, because that's like consensual humiliation, that's a thing. Like, all of that aside, she's framing kink as like, if you're a sub, you're this pathetic human who's letting themselves be abused or whatever, and if you are a dom, you are abusing your sub, and you're breaking them, and you're fucking them up for the rest of their lives. And of course none of that's true. You know, I feel like Anna's just articulated, she's gotten to the core of her internal kink shame, and like everything that has been holding her back from enjoying kink. I mean, besides everything that's Christian's fault, on Anna's end, like, this is how she sees kink. She sees it as this like dirty, fucked up, broken, harmful thing, which it's not. So Anna's response to all this is to get down on her knees in front of Christian as well and be like, I refuse to dominate you. We need to talk as equals. And so she starts airing just all her insecurities, all her fears of like, you're so wealthy and successful, and I don't understand what you see in me. I don't see how you think I'm attractive. I can't be kinky with you, so I'm so scared you're gonna leave me. She says, if you leave me, it would be like a world without light. I'll be in darkness. And that kind of brought up a little bit about my last breakup, because for the longest time, like, that's the exact image that I would use when I thought about breaking it off. That future, that possible future, was just black darkness. But hey, guess what? I'm in that future now, and I mean, it was hard for a while. It was really hard, but I'm through it. I'm living my life. I'm doing my best. I survived that darkness that at one point in our relationship was unthinkable to me, that I would even entertain the possibility of leaving her. But I did, and it ended up being the better thing for me, and I think the better thing for both of us. And that was after 5 years. And this relationship is being measured in weeks. still, and I think maybe months at this point. I don't know. As much as they like fell for each other really fast, like their lives are so much less entwined than my life was with Lane, and I'm here, I'm fine. So I guess what I'm saying is, Anna, you can be fine too. And everyone watching this, like, no matter how tangled up you are in the other person, no matter how thoroughly your lives have been intertwined, you can separate and you can keep living. If you're at all thinking that maybe a breakup is on the horizon, but you're still at that place where you're not sure if you can survive it, I am telling you, I promise you can. Do what is going to be best for you. Even if that's going to be hard for a while, you can survive it and you will come out stronger. You will come out a better person eventually. I'm still getting there, I think, but it is possible. Okay, the other thing about this exchange right now is it's really bothering me that Anna is like literally begging Christian to like stop playing the submissive role and like open up and talk to her, and he's not. He's just still like sitting there not saying anything. Like, that is not how kink works. The second one of you wants the other one to stop what they're doing, they stop. And that goes both ways, the dom or the sub. As soon as someone is not comfortable, the scene ends. You don't just ignore someone wanting to end the scene. You just fucking don't. And I mean, even you don't initiate a scene without discussion beforehand. I said this all in my last video. Kink only happens within the confines of discussion, of consent, of setting boundaries, and then respecting those boundaries. Anything outside of those confines and rules, I guess, stops being kink and starts being an unhealthy relationship. So Christian's finally talking, and he's talking through his fears of going to the apartment and seeing Layla there with a gun, and like, what if she had hurt Anna, and you know, I mean, all of the things you'd expect if he saw someone threatening his girlfriend with a gun. Finally, it dawns on Anna that what he did, that like dominant posture that he took with Layla, was to try to diffuse the situation and keep Anna safe. Finally, she understands. I'm sorry, but like, duh. So, I know it's been a long time since we've addressed this, but Christian has like certain parts of his body that he won't let anyone touch. There's like an area, I think if I remember correctly, it's like on his chest and his back. It's not really clear exactly what happened to him, but it's some part of his trauma. So finally, in the wake of this like discussion, they've kind of come to an understanding, and he takes Anna's hand and like puts it on his chest in part of the area that he doesn't like to be touched, and he like lets her undo his shirt, and then she's about to touch his bare skin. She's like, I sense his rising panic, but he doesn't pull away. Is he still in sub mode? I have no idea. That's where I have a problem, because as soon as she's not sure whether he's still okay with it or not, and she's not sure if he's only allowing her to go this far because he is still being submissive, she needs to stop and check in with him. And if you're not kinky, you might not always think like that, which is kind of a problem. Like, the main thing about kink that I think vanilla people could really benefit from is it really emphasizes communication. Even if it's not in a strictly kinky context, you talk to each other, you check in with each other, and yeah, that there just needs to be more of that. More immediately, Anna needs to check in with him and see if he's okay with it, and find out if he's still in sub mode. This is obviously really difficult for Christian. Like, this is a trauma that goes deep, and so there needs to not be ambiguity right now, you know, because Christian is really, really pushing up against his limits right now. And so they need to talk each other through it. You know what I'm saying? They just... Oh my god. Okay, so her idea of asking permission is like reaching one hand up but like not quite touching him and then just like staring at him. Like, honestly, I think in this case you gotta use your words. Like, it's just better safe than sorry. And okay, so she's like touching him and it's fine, but then she goes in to kiss his chest, and once again, like, she uses a look to ask permission. I think it's easy as a writer to have your characters understand each other better than it's always possible to actually understand each other in real life. Like, yes, you do get to a point where you understand another like, if you know someone really well, you can really like understand their body language very well, but even then, a look can really easily be misinterpreted, and I just don't feel like these two are at that stage yet. I don't think they know each other well enough, and once again, even if they were, if Anna is trying to help Christian through this trauma that runs so deep, you need to use your words. You need to ask explicitly for what you want to do and get explicit permission. Otherwise, there's just too much room for ambiguity, and there's too much room for her accidentally overstepping her bounds and it just going wrong. Holy fuck. Okay, just when I thought this chapter couldn't get any more kink shaming. I don't remember if I've talked about this, but it's been mentioned before that all of Christian's subs, including Anna, have kind of looked similar. Like, they've all had brown hair and whatever. I don't know, they have like a similar look, which I feel like is kind of made a bigger deal of in the book than it necessarily needs to be, because like some people have a type. Here's the thing, apparently Christian's type is tied to his traumatic past. He says, "I'm a sadist, Anna. I like to whip little brown-haired girls like you because they all look like my birth mother." There it is, the core of why Christian likes being a dom, so that he can take out all his anger at his mother, his birth mother. Once again, that's not how kink works. Kink does not boil down to, I hate my mother, so I am going to take it out on all these subs. That's not what being a dom is. It's just not. Being a dom is not about rage. It's not from a place of anger or hatred or wanting to cause actual harm to a person. That's not kink. That's not domination. That's abuse. How many times do I say this in this video series? A lot. But here we are. Kink, domination, submission, it's about pleasure. It's a form of expressing your love for the other person. Like, hi, I know that's hard for some people to wrap their heads around, but it is. Kink is a loving thing. Even when you're hurting someone consensually, it's out of love. It's because it's what both of you like to do and what both of you want. It's affection. It's love. That's what kink is. I know it's a form of affection that is very taboo and there's a lot of stigma around it, but that doesn't change the fact that it is a loving, caring, affectionate act. It is taking care of each other. Oh my god, I'm so angry about this. I can't fucking believe that this is what so many people are going to think that kink is revenge on an abusive mother. It's not what it is. That's not the message that we need to be sending in a book series that for a lot of people is going to be their introduction into kink, and they're going to trust this series to form their ideas about kink, and it's so wrong. That's not what it is. That's not how this works. That is not what this community is. This is an attack on my community, on the kinky community. It's not what we are. That's not who we are. That's not how we live our lives. I'm gonna stop because I feel like I'm getting less and less coherent and more just like ranting and raving as I go along. Okay, moving on. The upshot of their conversation so far is that Anna's like, okay, so wow, so you really do need to be a dom and I really can't give you what you need. Is that what you're saying? And he says, no, you do give me what I need. Basically what he's saying is, Anna, you're healing my trauma, so you're turning me vanilla. Because the only reason I'm kinky is because I was fucked up and traumatized. But now I love you and you love me and I've never had a loving relationship before in my life. So that's curing me of my kink. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Say it with me, kids. That's not how kink works. It's not a symptom of a traumatic past, and it's not something that love and romance can cure you of. I mean, it's just part of who you are, and that's fine. There's nothing bad about it. There's nothing wrong about it. It's just another way to love someone. That's all it is. Yeah, he's like, if you'd never left me, then I probably wouldn't feel this way. You walking out on me was the best thing you ever did for us. It made me realize how much I want you, just you, and I mean it when I say I'll take you any way I can have you. Which is like not great. We're getting into this trope in romance, in media, where it's like you meet that one person and you love them so much and they're just so essential to your well-being that, you know, you'll give up a significant part of yourself if it means being with them, and that's okay, which I hate. I disagree with this trope on so many levels. Like, first of all, loving someone doesn't change who you are fundamentally, what you want, what you need out of life. There is no one that you're going to love so much that you can't survive breaking up with them. I don't believe in the like, you have one soulmate and they're the only person that you can possibly be happy with for the rest of your life. That's bullshit. There are, what, 7 billion people on the planet? There's going to be more than one person that you can love deeply and have a happy life with. The other thing is, like, if there is like a true soulmate for you, like, you would think they would be someone that would be compatible with you, all of you, that you wouldn't have to change or omit a significant part of yourself in order to be with them. My point is, don't sacrifice any part of yourself for another person. It's never worth it. It's just never worth it, okay, you guys? It's just not. Oh my god. This just keeps getting worse. They're talking. He's like, you're not gonna leave me? Like, really? Really? You promise you're not gonna leave me now that you know all this? Finally, she's like, what can I do? What can I give you to convince you that I'm not gonna leave you? And he's like, well, there is one thing you can do. You can marry me. See, okay, first of all, they have been together a month, maybe 2 at this point, I don't know, like don't marry someone that you've only been with for that short an amount of time. I was with someone for 5 years. I was sure I was gonna spend the rest of my life with her. For years of our relationship, I was like, this is the one. But it turns out that's not what happened. You can't. I don't believe that there is any single person on this planet who can know in less than a year, way less than a year, whether or not this relationship is gonna last the rest of your life. And also, can we talk about how manipulative this is? Like, prove to me that you love me by committing to me for the rest of your life. Prove to me that you're not gonna leave me by marrying me. That's so coercive and manipulative, and that's not an okay reason to marry someone. It's just because they're afraid they're gonna lose you. Like, no, that is fucked up. Okay, let's see what happens. Well, so Anna's like, I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes either. Can I at least think this over? Which is better than saying yes on the spot, I guess. But considering that this started its life as a Twilight fan fiction and we all know how that ended, I think I know how this one's gonna end too. At this point it's like 11:30 at night and Christian's like, wait, you haven't eaten? Because Anna mentions that she's tired and hungry and whatever, and so Christian's like, here, let me fix you something to eat. And so Anna's kind of amazed that Christian likes mac and cheese, and she refers to it as nursery food. First of all, I've never heard that phrase, so I have to assume it's another Britishism. Second of all, like, are there places in the world where mac and cheese is like an age-restricted food and you're not supposed to like it if you're not a kid? Like, is that what I'm hearing here? Is that a thing somewhere? Because, like, mac and cheese is fucking delicious no matter who you are. There is no age limit on delicious pasta and like tons of cheese. Come on! Right, so she asks him exactly what he did with Layla in the apartment, and he says, we talked and I gave her a bath. And that's, I guess, just the last straw for Anna, and she blows up at him, and the chapter ends with her sitting on the bathroom floor sobbing. Like, she's tired, she's drunk, she's sleep deprived, she hasn't eaten. None of that is really gonna lend itself to rational, tempered responses to situations. But it's kind of disappointing that, like, for the first time in almost 2 books worth of story, they actually managed to talk to each other, to come to some kind of understanding of where the other person is at. You couldn't end the chapter on that, could you? You just had to end it on yet another fucking fight. I'm annoyed at that and I'm disappointed. I don't know, but here we are at the end of another chapter. We'll see what happens next time. Also, I believe this is my second yellow highlighter that I've gone through over the course of this series. It's gone, ready to start a new one in the next chapter. That's how much bad writing I've been highlighting. So anyway, we'll see you next month, and until then, I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's nothing wrong with being kinky. It doesn't mean you're broken, it doesn't mean you're fucked up or that you're a bad person or that you want to see other people harmed. That's not it. Kink is great. It's fun. It's about fun, it's about consent, it's about love. Love yourself, love your kinky self, or love your vanilla self if that's who you are. Either one is great. Yeah, I'll see you next month. Bye.